That being said, it's time to get into the next match of the day. You're watching League Play of the European region for the Rocket League Championship Series. The next match, again, Mocket versus Penta. Let's go over to the commentary desk with Leaf and Lolly.
As they mentioned, this is a game with big implications, and I think it might go even further than what they talked about. I mean, we keep saying every week that Mocket should have this, Mocket should have this, and well, they haven't a lot of these times, and this could be the final straw for people believing in Mocket being able to win a lot of these games.
Yeah, you saw it last week, that reverse sweep barely coming out. But a lot of their stats are actually kind of deceiving. They show that they're like second and third in like shots and goals and all this other kind of stuff, but it's because of how little of the amount of shots that they've been able to take. They're making what they get count, but it just isn't happening enough.
Now, have you seen anything specifically that's causing that? Like, why are they not able to get these plays? I mean, you have a bunch of players on here, specifically players that are fairly good at 1v1 situations. They should be able to get the ball down the other field, start creating those opportunities. Why aren't they?
I mean, it was kind of similar to Energy at the beginning of the offseason when they picked up Garrett, is they have so much offensive power. Everybody on that team has the ability to move up and make a play, like you said. Everybody is very mechanically sound. The issue is I think they try to force it too much. Rather than playing like a reactionary and just relying on their talent, they try to force these passes. They try to make the crazy things that we saw, Remco and Maestro doing last game, rather than just saying, okay, let's react, let's put the ball downfield, and then just let our natural talents take over. And because of that, it feels forced.
Play to your actual skill sets, you're saying then.
Just relax.
Well, on the other side of the field, we have Penta, who last week actually didn't have one of their main roster players, Pondax, who should be in today. Mummy actually subbed in last week. And Mummy did a decent job. You could tell was a sub player, but played his heart out for the team. But unfortunately, again, the team's still sitting at a 1-2. I think they did actually take a win, though, with Mummy last week, was it?
I think so. They're 1-3. I know
Fact
they're
check.
Same. Yeah,
right. So Penta now with a full roster should hopefully be able to hold up to this. So the desk talked about just coming off a loss. That can be big on the mentality. That could set a team to say, man, this sucks. We just came off a loss. Whereas Penta coming in fresh right now could say, this is our first game of the day. Let's get to it. Let's be excited. And that can really help carry you forward. So Penta may have the upper hand in the mentality, but the warm-up for Mocket, they've just played a match. They played a hard team. They played Northern Gaming. So Penta may be a little bit easier for them.
Yeah, I think that, and I have to agree with James, is like I do feel the ability that Mocket's going to come in. But I think people underestimate Penta. Like Pondax and Killer have some fantastic blast plays, and then you see Freaky when Pondax, their typical score wasn't there. He stepped up. He had a pretty good week last week. The issue is that you're going against a team like Mocket, who already is warmed up, a team that normally needs to get warmed up in order to perform their best. So between these two teams, like, it's tough. Like, if Mocket gets out of their own heads and says, okay, yeah, we lost, it's Northern Gaming, people expect that, and just come out guns blazing, like, Penta's got a lot to take in. Question
for you. Now, I did see a map pick come in that last series, Wasteland. I believe that was Mocket's pick as well,
Correct.
Which they end up losing on, carrying on that stat of losing on your non-standard map picks. One of these days we'll get it. Do you think that would be something that Penta may want to add to the roster? Do you think we'll see a surprise pick? I know a lot of these picks are done before. Do you think Penta was thinking ahead and say, hey, let's get a map pick in here that could throw a team like Mocket off? I'm pretty sure we've seen Mocket play on a few non-standard maps now.
Yeah, a lot of these top teams actually just don't enjoy playing on the non-standard maps. They like playing on what they're comfortable with, because in a setting of this stage and this caliber, why throw another kink in it? So a lot of these teams don't, and I was actually really happy to see Mocket try to fix it in, because at the point, they are 1-2 at that series before they took that loss from Northern Gaming. Before it's too late, you might as well try to mix it in, try to mix something up, and cause that difference. Obviously, it didn't work out for them, as the statistic shows, but that doesn't mean you should exactly shy away from it. Penta, I think, would be a fantastic team for that. They have the ability to make those pass plays and use those walls to their advantage, and I would like to see a team that normally has a little bit more time on offense or defense having issues going into offense. Maps like Starbase and stuff are perfect for that. It automatically centers. It works really well for them.
Now, I think we started to see it a bit more into Season 3 that they're starting to pick these non-standard maps, because you've seen even just the level of play from Season 1 coming up to Season 2 and now especially into Season 3. Players have just gotten so friggin' good.
Right.
Season 1, again, like you're watching, it's like, I can do half that stuff that they were doing in those finals even. And so I think players are finally getting to a level where they're comfortable with the meta. They're comfortable with where a lot of everything is standing at this point. Their skill sets, they need that next jump. And I think that's where we're seeing a few throw-ins here, but it's also to the point where, you're right, they aren't comfortable with it. And I think that's why we're seeing teams lose on it. Like, okay, this is different now. What do we do? And they kind of catch themselves off guard. And I'm hoping, especially coming into Season 4, we're going to see teams that are very, very well versed in these non-standard maps. But right now, I just love to see that they're even starting to throw them out there.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it gives you an unfair advantage because a lot of people, like we said, don't like it. And if you're that first team that comes in and is really strong performance-wise on those maps, none of the other teams like it, so you're giving yourself a clear advantage. And if, like you said, Maka keeps kind of sticking to that, it's something that could favor them. It's something they may be able to bust out to get those last couple wins and help them in that tiebreaker situation that they may have to come across here. But between these two teams, like, it's a battle either way. Both these teams are fantastic. It's just a matter of can Pondex and Freaky find each other, because when they do, it's scary.
Well, speaking on Penta, I mean, Killer number 7, if I keep every week I've been drilling this into people, watch Killer number 7. He loves to be up on that forefront, trying to get plays set, be the finisher a lot of times. I mean, we saw him in the top plays in week number 1. Just being there, finishing a lot of those plays that he's getting out from his teammates. He seems to be a driver on the offense. He loves to be there and says, team, hey, let's do this. Who's that driver on Mocket for the offense?
In all reality, it's everybody but Mystic. To be completely honest, like both Fairy and K-Dop, I would probably say more than anybody it had to be K-Dop just because he's everywhere. But either of those players has the ability to move up and bring it upfield just by either solo play or otherwise through wall play. Mystic is that guy that kind of sits back and is more of your support player, the guy who doesn't get all the credit or the flashy plays, but he is a guy that will pass it up. He'll be there on defense. He's there to support you in whatever role that you need. Mm-hmm. But for K-Dop and Fairy Peak, depending on who's feeling it that day, watch out. But in consistency purposes, it's been K-Dop as of late.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Fairy Peak, I think Wave was the one that mentioned it before, that a lot of the Batmobile players seem to be the one to play that third line getting back. And I think one of the pro players did confirm it online that it's because it gets great flicks.
Yeah. Lethamir was the one that actually mentioned that, one of the guys that plays on the NA side for Denial, Team Canada, your big fan. But a lot of it literally has to do with the aspect of, because of the way that car is shaped, that nose and that clear and the ability to flick, there's a lot of power on those big clears, and you're seeing that third man that plays a little bit more passive, who slows it down a little bit more, who's going for that clears. It gives them a little bit more power on those clears. It helps out quite a bit.
I think that's absolutely right why he plays back. And you said, as we just saw in that clip there too, K-Dop likes to be that finisher there for Mocket. Now, the question is, can they finish it here against Penta? I mean, Penta seems to be a strong team. I mean, they're only 1-2 right now, whereas Mocket is 1-3. The Des was just saying the implications are huge at this point. One of these teams is going to set themselves at a point where they might be in the running for a 7th and 8th spot. And as we all know, that means you're out of those regional finals.
Right.
And that's not a place that you want to put yourself in. Now, I want to get your prediction coming into this. Do you think Penta or Mocket is going to find themselves in that spot?
I hope not for either.
Of course.
I hope we have a really
wish
close.
that evil upon anybody.
I hope we have a really close game between these guys. But in all honesty, I think Mocket is going to show what they showed last game. They're going to come out guns blazing and really force this team on Penta to sit on the back burner and fight their way out. They've got to fight tooth and nail to get out of that back line.
Well, after tuning up their cars there in the garage for a bit, we are ready to get down on the field. Penta Sports versus Mocket Esports. Game number 1, best of 5. Both these teams sitting at only 1 win in the series. A lot of people expecting Mocket to maybe have a bit of a better record. We'll see if they can finally prove that to us today, or if Penta is going to be stepping up and starting to steamroll their way through the league. As the first 30 seconds pass by, Mocket already played a game today, barely losing that one to Northern Gaming. Penta coming in fresh as they already try to start an attack here. Both Pone and Freaky, as you mentioned before, with each other up in the front, and there's Killer trying to finish it off exactly as we talked in that pregame. Fortunately, that Mocket defense was able to stifle any kind of attack, and now they are back on their own end as Mystic tries to set up a play off the backboard. No third in there to finish that one. Freaky in an awkward spot, though. Not sure what K-Dub was trying to do. Fairy Peak trying to recover over 1. A little bit too far to get a play started up, and none of these plays really having any real formation, just trying to get the ball on offense.
Yeah, and a lot of it are, like you said, struggling, trying to keep that on offense. But I like that early on, you already see Penta with Killer pushing it up. That usually that third man sits a little bit more patient and back. But not Killer, he moves up, applies more pressure, and buys his teammates time as they get the counter and Fairy Peak for the goal.
There it is, Mystic finding Fairy Peak on that cherry pick way up far. Beautiful pass from Mystic, and that's our first goal.
Yeah, unfortunate for Pondex too. He was coming and trying to get that demo on the back, just not fast enough, and allows that goal to come in. But starting strong, you see Mocket heating up. You want that attack to be kind of simmered down from the side of Penta. Otherwise, things can spell trouble. Because you know when Mocket, those two, K-Dop and Ferry, get together, good things happen.
Mystic trying to set up another play here to get another one, a shot. Almost getting the dunk. K-Dop the follow-up, the pass to Fairy Peak, and a second booty touch to drop that one in. A 2-goal lead now in the next 30 seconds.
This is what's scary. You asked me which player is the one that leads the charge, and all three. Mystic slowing it down, taking a dribble on his own, and then following in one after another. Mistouch doesn't matter. Fairy's there, and of course he's got to go for the double touch. Highlight plays, man.
I mean, of course. Whether intentional or not, throw your body at it and hope for the double touch or triple.
I'm sure there's a little bit more mechanical
quad.
skill and thought in that, but pretty much just throw your body at it and hope it works.
Well, Freaky tried to throw his body at that one. Went a little bit wide. They will be forced back to defense. Pwned with a backflip to keep himself from flying past that ball, noticing someone was approaching. But Mocket in the lead by 2 goals now. Still 3 minutes left for Penta to be able to bring this one back. There's Pwned with a shot on target. No one's going to stop that rocket as they bring that lead only down to 1.
Subtle pressure. You see Freaky spin around as he's coming through, trying to get to that outside rotation, but as Killer made that initial play, you said leading the charge and being that offensive pressure, he actually goes to that back line, goes for a bump, and then the shot comes in. Very difficult to try to read that shot preemptively as well as dodge a player coming at your face.
Now approaching that halfway mark, and we almost have, once again, an even game. We'll see if Penta can tie this one up in the next 10 seconds here. Bring us back to where we started. They're going to back off now and let Mocket take control of the field. Nope, there's Killer to intercept. Freaky with a follow-up very quickly. A bit of a misplay there. Whiffs on his touch, trying to set that one low. Pwn with a second touch himself. No, misreads the backboard. Freaky, that last defender on the midline, sends that one back in. A shot. Fairy Peak, no one in net. If Pwn can get a power shot, that could be a goal. Fairy Peak off the wall, spiders that one away. Beautiful save. Very scary situation for Mocket, though.
Now, something for Mocket, obviously, like James and the guys said at the desk, they had that reverse sweep last week, so they're able to keep off this pressure. They know what it's like to be down from behind, but trying to carry on this lead as Penta is starting to apply some more pressure. These guys getting more comfortable as the game approaches.
Yo, you're absolutely right. I mean, a lot of people talk about Ponex, and I've heard people say when he is on, he can carry almost any team. And right now, he's doing so good at making sure to get up to that ball quick on offense and keep that offensive pressure on. And his teammates are just following suit.
Oh, he just missed his team. He had to sit out 1 week, and he's ready to come and play.
Yeah, he's like, guys, I know you miss me. I'm back. And here's Pondex as they create another attack. Pwn sending that off the backboard. There's Freaky with a shot, but a miss. A couple unfortunate misses from Freaky now. If he can start to connect with those, I think we're going to see a much closer game and maybe even a lead gained for Penta Sports. There's a shot. Mocket trying to get another cushion as they're only 1 goal separating them right now from Penta. As they try to even this one up, approaching that final minute of gameplay. They have a chance here. Fairy Peak last defender back. If Killer can tip that towards the net, he misses. Freaky a little bit too far behind on that one. And now we'll have to try again from midfield. Pwn once again in the air quickly to that. Killer's going to be one on that, but keeping the pressure on as long as they just make sure they don't give away possession. And all of their touches are worth something. They should be able to still do this. 43 seconds left. We see Penta Sports put in on a lot of pressure to Mocket. And eventually we see teams, when this happens, they will break.
Well, a lot of both these teams, I guess, get credit for the way that they counterattack. Immediately, as soon as the ball touches, these guys scream downfield. But it's complemented by quick rotations back onto defense. Even though these guys are moving downfield quickly, there's always at least 2 players back on defense ready to make the save.
There it is, 16 seconds left. Maybe the final chance here for Penta to be able to tie this one up. Mystic's going to take this one slow and air dribble to buy them some time. It forces the defender to watch where that's going, follow the trail with 1 second left. If this touches the ground, that is going to be it. Freaky just desperately trying to keep it up. Of course, Mystic wants it dropped. Fairy Peak will be the one to do it, and Mocket taking game number 1 against Penta Sports.
Good job by Ferry as well at the end there, just getting in the way to make sure he kills that as he saw 2 defenders approaching, but still Penta trying to keep it within range. Shots actually in their favor.
I mean, I don't even think anyone doubted that the shots would be in Penta's favor at this point. They spent a majority of the time on Mocket's end, forcing Mocket into a couple scary spots. And Fairy Peak was actually, again, as we talked about before, being that last defender back, very, very clutch in net. There were a lot of opportunities for Penta to be able to score, but Mocket had Fairy Peak a lot of times backwards, off the wall, wherever it was. He was able to keep that out. And Fairy Peak was, I got to say, very clutch. Actually, I'm just looking at the stats now. 4 saves compared to the 0 and 1 from the rest of his teammates. He was very clutch on their defense, and without him, that definitely was a Penta game.
Yeah, there's a lot of shots in the middle of the net that he was able to save. And not only save, but also place them well on those saves out to the outside. But a lot of it does come with the aspect of not only is he helping on defense, but he's also helping on offense. He's the one who had both the goals for that team. Simply able to transition on both sides. I talked about it. We mentioned it in the pregame. Either one of those players, Fairy or K-Dop, are willing to make plays all over the field. We saw K-Dop do it a ton last week. His stat line was unbelievable. But Fairy Peak, he's getting comfortable. The first week, he wasn't doing too hot, but he's getting even better and better each week as these games progress.
Well, we have 2 players that are really stepping up right now from both sides. One Fairy Peak and 2 Pondex from Penta. Both these players are really going off, and it's really great to see because, as I said, Penta spent a lot of time in Mocket's end, and they have every chance to take game number 2 as long as they play the way they just did. Because right now for Mocket, there's no real need to change up anything. They won the last one. They are now a point up in the series in this best of 5. If they keep doing what they're doing, they should expect to win. But we'll see if Penta can answer that. The first 30 seconds, just like the first, we see no goals. All the plays that are moving on to offense, a little bit kiltered as they try to form something real. Breaking under their own end right now is Penta. They're having a bit of trouble here. Freaky will have finally a chance as Killer moves up with him. Hoping for a pass, and maybe it should have been, but he missed. Good dunk from Mystic. Puts that one right back down into Penta's end. And trying to force this one through. K-Dop will have a chance. And that last defender is not going to be able to stop that one. Once again, Mocket taking the first goal in the game.
That overwhelming pressure again from Mocket. You see Mystic trying to get up, and he just shadows the player in the air. It pushes 50-50 straight back down. And because of that, they have a waiting opponent trying to just sit there and read the shot, but he can't. Already a Mocket player just waiting to shoot it on net. The pressure really starting to overwhelm this Penta team.
Well, we'll see. Only a minute in now. Still a lot of time for Penta to be able to pull this one back, as they already try off that kickoff from the first goal. Freaky hesitating. We'll take this drop down from K-Dop as he almost forces that one through. Gets a second side flip on it to try to put that one on target. He'll back off as Freaky moves down the field. Mystic in net with Fairy Peak. He gets that clear. Coming in as that third. Mystic will have to take the shot off the backboard. There's no one there to follow it up. Freaky will drag that one away from the net, but a dunk from K-Dop almost forces that one to the top corner. Incredible 50-50 in their favor, just unfortunately a little bit shy of the net there.
Oh, that pitch would have been so scary, but that's what Mocket does best. They're not afraid to pressure you, even when it's, like, even better when it's on the other team's net. Like, what do they have to lose? They already got 2 players defending to make a save, but a demo coming out, getting aggressive on the side of Penta.
Yeah, Mystic out of the field right now. That could be a chance for Killer to move this one up the field. Pone waiting for a pass, but that will fly back.
Oh,
as Mystic
no,
got a
Freaky.
touch in there. Is a mistouch from the defense, and Mystic is going to take advantage of that one.
Well, a big clear coming out from Mystic. You see Freaky trying to go up to shadow it, and because of that, he saw Fairy Peak coming across, and that touch just completely fooled him, and he sets it down right in front of his own net. He was actually reading that first shot, thinking he was going to go top left post, and if it would have hit him, it would have bounced out to the left, but unfortunately for him, it was played light, and he read the wrong hit. So difficult to do with this offense.
He is a defender. You never want to drop that ball back down in front of it. Unless you know that a teammate is there ready to set up a counterattack, you generally want to put that ball to the side, and unfortunately he wasn't able to do that, and they now sit down 2 goals, but we did see them answer back one of those in the first game and then put on a lot of pressure in game number 1, and they might be able to bring that one back. A second touch!
Double touch! What a save from Fairy!
Save, though. Fairy Peak able to keep that one out. What an incredible play from Pone, though. That's what Penta needs.
Oh, they need to be careful. Too committed. Pondek's going to put another shot off the crossbar.
We were just talking about how incredible this guy can be, and he is starting to show it, but an open net almost. Freaky had forced in the way of that one, but Mystic is going to come in as a second and put a third goal in. What a turnaround.
Unfortunate for Penta. They put all their eggs in the basket on that one, and it just doesn't pay off. A counterattack coming from Mocket. They hold off the first shot, but that's the issue. You know Mocket's going to follow with more pressure, and it pays off. They're up 3-0 in game number 2.
Oh, man, that's got to feel so bad for Penta. They've been so close. Pone, almost a highlight play right there, but a highlight save coming up from Mocket. As now they're starting to get physical, and that demo definitely coming in critical for Mocket, as there is no defender there for Fairy Peak's shot.
As soon as he lands, he goes for that last man and Freaky in the net. And because of that easy shot, placement still very good by Fairy Peak off that post, but even still, it was wide open.
No, again, and that's where the defender was sitting. That very likely was a save, but because of the demo, that physical play, Mocket sets himself ahead by 4 goals. Now 2 minutes left. Still lots of time now for Penta, but that clock is ticking down as they slowly start to run out of opportunities. Here could be one, though. Mystic gets the touch over Killer. He commits to that one. That's going to be a chance for K-Dop. With a soft touch, though, that will be saved by Pwned. Freaky to meet that one on the roof as he sends it to midfield. Penta trying their best to move a play up the field, and there is one. Freaky. Great placement on that one. Keeps it away from the defender, and only a 3-goal difference now.
Fantastic play from this Penta team. Everybody getting involved. Initial pass down and then back up to Freaky for the shot. Those quick pass plays really suit them, and it's been difficult because a lot of the times, Freaky and Pwned are actually overlapping. A lot of the times they're going up on the wall for the same aerial. Glad to see them separate and it paying off for them.
Mocket looking to take game number 2 as well as game number 1. Both these teams sitting at a 1 win in league play right now. Penta at 1-2, Mocket at 1-3. This is very important, as whoever loses this one will find themselves in a potentially 7 and 8 spot. That's not where you want to be in those standings at all if you want to make regionals and have a chance to get to the Worlds. 1 minute remaining now. 3 goals setting Mocket ahead of Penta. Penta really needs to make some moves. They don't want to be set at match point. Fairy Peak with a potential shot, trying to extend that lead once again. No finish to that one. Mystic might have the finish. What is Freaky doing in net? And there is once again a 4-goal lead.
Freaky just looking confused. He's got a Fairy Peak that's coming after him. As Fairy Peak's trying to rotate back, he jumps in front of him. And I think it just caught Freaky off guard. He didn't expect a guy to be flying past the front of his camera. But that shot from Mystic still far post, completely out of the way. There was nothing that you could see Freaky do in that net with the way he was positioned.
Freaky wanting those vegetable rinks back. A potato play from him sets another goal in for Mocket. And Penta looking to be in a rough spot, especially coming into game number 3 with a goal spread like this. That's not a close match.
With the way you just burned him there, does that make him a baked potato?
A baked potato? Get out of here. 30 seconds left now for Mocket Esports just to hold off on a 4-goal lead. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say they're going to take this one, and that will set them at match point to be able to get themselves a 2nd win in league play. And that's very good. Penta in a rough spot. Do you really think they can take a game, bring this back in a reverse sweep? We've seen a lot of reverse sweeps. A lot of reverse sweeps.
You know, we need one for the week to hit our quota, as we have for every other week. But you look at Penta's stat line, like their average and everything. They're in the middle of the pack, like 4th in assists, 3rd in saves, like. But some of those stats aren't what they want, especially the saves one. Saves one means that you're getting a lot of shots against you, when in reality you need to be the one that's putting that on the other team. So it shows that their team is well balanced, and obviously the one goal that they had shows that everybody can be involved to make an impact. But they need to find a way to stop this Mocket pressure. There's just too many shots that they're allowing.
That stayed up for quite a while at the end there as they just try to get some more style points. K-Dop feeling good with a dance. A little silly there at the end, and Penta not looking as dominant as they were in that first match. And again, quite unfortunate because they do find themselves now at match point. Mocket sitting 2-0 in the series in this best of 5. One more win will get them another point in league play. Penta doesn't want that. Reverse sweeps have been abundant. We've had at least one.
Don't count them out yet,
every
man.
single day. Maybe it's not this series, but we have to have one at least today. I mean, it has to happen. This could be it. Penta now setting themselves up for a potential reverse sweep. Can they do it? Looked a little weak, but can we talk about Pwned though, man? That guy has been going off. And unfortunately, there were just a couple misses from Freaky in the first game on offense, and now a bit of a blunder in net from Freaky on defense. And Killer not really being that force we've seen on offense in the previous 2 weeks. We have seen him up before a lot more than he was in this series, really, and it's been a lot of Pwned and Freaky. Do you think that could be the missing answer here? Killer needs to get up more, or does Pwned just need to sink these shots?
I mean, it's tough because a lot of it does have to be those small mistouches. You saw the reason why Mocket actually fell a little bit last was because of small mistakes. They've cleaned that up. They're not really making those big crucial mistakes. They're making sure their decision-making has been on point. You know, as soon as the ball gets cleared out or as soon as something happens, they transition as a team and they're capitalizing on it. And that's something that this Penta team hasn't been doing. When they have the ability to break out of their own end and bring it on offense, it's so short-lived that they're just not able to get anything from it.
Now, of course, we're back on Wasteland. Mocket has that in their picks. We'll see if they can finally win one on this, or I mean, if we're gonna go by science here, Penta will start the reverse sweep on this map because it's Mocket's pick.
Right.
That is the way it will go. Let's see if we're proven wrong, though. We come down into game number 3. 2 up in the series. A million touches off the roof. K-Dop is set up with a potential play, but doesn't do it fast enough. The defenders will be able to stop that one as he tries to set something down. What a good touch there. I've seen a few players, especially yesterday, Rizzo, getting some touches like that, and I like to see coming off those backboards. It seems to be a bit of the meta now, but you're right. Killer will be able to force that win, and now Penta finds himself in the lead for the first time.
One of the things about the Wasteland map is the map dips down in the middle, so when it hits that wall that bounces, when you're approaching it, go higher than what you're used to because you're hitting it from a lower elevation, and because that he miscalculates it, it bounces right over his head and leaves a wide open net for Penta. This is what they need to start out.
There it is, a goal in the lead now, a minute in for Penta. Mocket has plenty of time to pull this one back. We saw a 5-1 win for them in the last game. We know they can score, but can they do it on Wasteland? As you mentioned, bit different from the bounces. Great passing play here, though. Last defender, Freaky, has to stop it, and he does. Mocket trying to get those infield passes to throw off the defenders, but Freaky wasn't allowing them to fool him. He moves this one down the other way. Gets that in front. That could be a shot for Killer. Off the backboard, Pone will be in quick to put that one under the defender. Tries with a bit of an air roll just to get his underside or backside on that one. Smart play from him, but it is stopped by the defender and back down into their own end. Penta will have to try again from defense as Killer and Freaky move up the field with a passing play. Once again off the backboard, forcing K-Dop up. A miss from him. Mystic forced in as a defender as Freaky was ready for another shot. Pone, the last defender, will want a hard clear here. Good passing play to get that one back down, and I like to see what Penta's doing. They're making sure to reach each other on defense with those passing plays, quickly transitioning back down onto offense.
Not only that, the way they're spreading out and working that field, just quick one-touches to move it downfield makes it really difficult for Mocket to get settled. And not only on that aspect, but it is forcing that last man to rotate into defense as like a last-ditch effort, because if he wasn't there, it would have been all done. There was nobody ready for it.
Approaching that halfway mark yet. Mocket still has yet to answer that first goal from Penta. We see a lot of good transitions from defense to offense from Penta right now. This could be their game. Freaky off the backboard to Killer, a shot on net and extending their lead. Mocket, once again, might be losing a match on Wasteland.
Yeah, Mystic trying to go up and match Pondex as he's coming through, but Freaky actually catches him off guard. He should have made that shot, but luckily for him, Killer always waiting patiently right behind, able to go in and take a shot. Puts him up by 2:30. This is what they needed, just like you said. And if statistics say anything,
we already went through the science.
Yeah, I'm scared. I want to see more unconventional maps, but you guys aren't making it easy.
And it's weird to see. I know Mocket coming into this knew that they'd have to play on this. And I wonder if there was any discussion in between saying, all right, what did we do wrong in the last one? Because it obviously wasn't enough, because they are down 2 goals while they play on Wasteland once again. They are up 2 in the series, though. 3 goals, and they will have a win in this series, but Penta trying to hold off on this lead.
Maybe Mocket's going for like a map mind game. They're like, yeah, we're going to let you guys win this. You're super good. But in reality, they're just like hustling them for the next map.
Maybe. Unlikely, but maybe. As almost another play comes out from Penta. It was barely stopped out by the Mocket defense, but they are still, once again, stuck on defense. That corner play is a bit different. Another miss from Fairy Peak is going to set up Freaky for a shot. Those are the corners you were talking about.
Yeah, it's just when you play it off that wall, it favors that pass. Like, not only are you getting it at a sharper angle because of the way the walls are framed in that like kind of curved angle, it just pinches perfectly back into the center so much better. So a lot of these guys are unfavored towards this map, but it's something that they both have the ability to use and take advantage of.
You're right.
It seems to be that Penta's doing it much better.
Map is symmetrical. Both sides have the same advantage. But right now, Penta has the advantage in the score. They put 3 goals in with 1:25 left. Mocket is 1 win away from getting themselves a second win in league play.
Oh, here's another one.
Pone sets that one off, though. He knew he had a defender, or sorry, a second attacker. Freaky there. Great pass from Pone.
You mean poor shot from Pone?
I don't know. I feel like that might have been intentional.
There was some flair to it. It looked cool, but he had a wide open net and he missed it, which isn't good.
It's all about style points and getting your friends some points.
Well, getting the goal would have gave him more points
but he's
on
a
the
team
board.
Player. With a minute 10 left, it doesn't matter. They're up 4 goals. Whether they missed it or not, they still would have been in the lead. Mocket has yet to get the one themselves on Wasteland here. They are about to be shut out by Pondex, by Penta, not just Pondex.
Pondex doing a good job,
His team's helping. As they almost win another one in here. Look at this defense struggling to get anything formulated from Mocket. And coming off a 5-1 win and then into a 4-0 loss. Absolutely different story here.
Well, ironically enough, it's very characteristic of this Penta team. In their game last week where they lost against Secrecy, every game was within 1 goal, but the story of like the actual like series was
back and forth.
Was Penta was like, all right, we're losing, and holy cow, we're gonna win this game by a lot, and we lost again. And then the same thing happened against Pocket Aces. It was 2-3. They came out really, really strong in one of their games, and then they had issues scoring the rest of the series.
True. Well, they didn't have issues scoring this time as they had 4 goals in the final 10 seconds of gameplay. This one's going to be going to Penta as they potentially start our mandatory one-a-day reverse sweep on Mocket Esports, starting it off with Wasteland and keeping true the fact that you pick a non-standard map, you're going to lose on it.
It's unfortunate but true at this point. And I would love to see that broken, but still, Penta getting their first win, like you said, on their way to hopefully getting that reverse sweep for themselves. But leading the charge is Freaky. 2 goals, 2 assists, 3 saves, and 4 shots everywhere on that field.
Well, look, every single goal was assisted by Penta. Pwned opting instead of goals there. 4 assists, letting his teammates move in. Everyone got a good point spread on that scoreboard. Penta did a good job of just controlling the field. They saw that Mocket was struggling to do anything on defense, and they utilized those walls. They utilized the corner. A lot of the times, they were throwing them off the corner, and we saw Fairy Peak, I think it might have been him twice, fly past the ball, unable to read that bounce, and that was just ended up being the death of Mocket. And I almost think like it might be a challenge for teams now to pick non-standard maps, to be that team that can win on a non-standard
Be the one hero that can break the break the science, I guess.
It's right now. It is a true scientific formula, and this might be the reverse sweep. Now, can Penta carry it through? We saw a devastating loss 5-1 in the previous game just before this from Mocket onto Penta. Is that going to happen again to Penta?
It's tough because a lot of the times that like Mocket was able to get out of their own end is because of all those saves from Fairy, who he had a couple mishaps and it led to that Penta win. But when Fairy is able to make those clears, they're actually pretty soft. They go to that back wall and they just kind of settle there, and then one of his teammates, usually Mystic, is the one that clears it out. The issue with Wasteland is if they're not strong saves and they're not pushed far enough, the map naturally will drag them back towards your net, so needing to be careful. But you never know. Mocket obviously recognizing very quickly the things they do right and wrong, trying to bounce back here.
Well, that's the spellings of a top-tier team as we come into our game number 4. Once again, both these teams only sitting with 1 win in league play, and this is very critical for them to set themselves ahead of all those other teams that are sitting with 1 win in league play right now. Mocket is at match point. Penta needs 2 more wins to be able to pull away with this series. They just won one on Wasteland. Can they do the reverse sweep as they were down 2-0 in the series just before that last game? We'll find out in this series right now as Penta and Mocket on the field trying to find that first goal. Pwned keeping that one in from Kada up. Freaky gets up just to steal away any kind of shot, and Killer, good recognition that that ball was going to go in their favor, moves up quickly to try to start something up. Unfortunately, it was stopped out at the midfield. They'll have to try again, but good awareness coming out from Penta right now. They're starting to feel good on that pitch.
Well, as the guys at the desk mentioned, huge playoff implications for these guys. If it comes down to tiebreakers, winner of this is pretty much going to secure that 5th or 6th spot. So really important as these guys try to battle back.
First minute pass by so far, 0 goals scored by either team. In game number 4 is still Penta trying to get that first play. We've seen at the beginning of all these matches some sloppy offense from both teams. They do eventually tighten up as the game goes on, but staying true to those last 3 games. They're just trying to get anything sort of set up right now, hoping for maybe that easy mistouch from a defender, get that easy goal. That could be it right there as Mystic puts one off the roof. Pone trying to set that one through. Both defenders push that out, but Fairy Peak and Mystic are out of the play now, leaving K-Dot by himself. Pone to Killer with a chance to 50 that one back in. K-Dot gets it past the midfield, but not for long as Freaky sets it up for Killer. He gives away possession as now Mocket takes control on offense in Penta's end. K-Dot winning the first 50-50 touch, but a second one coming off the wall will drop down to Killer. Now Freaky, that third man back, waiting for Pone and Killer to set something up. That could be it. Freaky has a chance to set that one in just shy of that bottom corner. Can't squeak that one by, and a chance for a counterattack as Killer, the last defender back, can't get the touch he wants. Mystic, a shot, just on, but Freaky keeps that one out.
Right decision as well by Fairy, just not able to make a play on the ball. So what does he do? He goes for the goal. He bumps him out and tries to help out Mystic's touch. Just a little bit too soft on the near post. But possession game, like you said, important. A lot of these guys have been just throwing it away. The nerves are almost setting in as they don't really want to keep the ball on their own side for too long. They just push it downfield and hope.
Well, that's why we start to see ping pong sometimes, when people get a little bit worrisome with what they should be doing with the ball. Almost a double coming out there from Mystic on Killer. He tried for the attack, and that might be a chance for a counterattack. Pone just missing off on that wall touch there. Freaky up to touch this one as his teammates get boosted up. Pone staying on the offense there, but 2 misses now. Uncharacteristic of him. He needs to tighten that up. Keep him on offense. A shot dropping towards the net. K-Dot forced to save it. Pone with another one on. They're starting to put on some pressure. If they can keep this beating off the wall here, this could be it, especially with a demo on K-Dot as Pone rotates out. This could be a chance they needed to set up a play, but they aren't able to really grasp control enough here in front of the net. Killer just needs to get a soft touch, and he does. That demo likely coming in very important for them as it kind of broke the rotation of Mocket.
Yeah, not only that demo, but you see 2 commit to that clear. That's happened a couple times on this Mocket defense. But Killer's positioning on that was really important. He gets up early with that air and just starts feathering his boost to make sure he's hovering. It cuts off one of the angles, and then he makes sure to point his nose down to make sure as soon as he gets that touch, there's nowhere else but the goal that ball's going to go.
Here it is, Penta now with another chance off the kickoff. We know those can be very good for getting a quick goal. Fortunately, they weren't able to set anything up useful off of that one. They'll try again from midfield. Killer with a low shot. Mystic with an easy clear. Follow up from Fairy Peak. Mystic there for if it goes off the backboard. Freaky gets a nice clear himself to send that right back down into Mocket's end with a minute left. Penta just needs to hold off on this one goal, but one goal is all it's going to take from Mocket. One mistake like that, Pone. What a recovery. Almost a terrible, deadly mistake coming out from Pone on that Penta defense as they almost gave a tie game right back to Mocket.
Oh, so scary with Pone, but for him to have that awareness as well, just making sure to jump into it, to push it out of the way in that last second as there was someone on offense approaching quickly. But with 20 seconds left, all they have to do is keep clearing this on the side of Mocket.
These guys are watching out for each other. Penta is looking for every single touch from each other. It's incredible because Mystic! Following through that rocket that ball like a rocket himself. Look at that tie-up with 14 seconds left.
Well, for him to slow himself down, so he's flying through the air, he rotates his car, boosts against the way he's going, and then goes upside down to match the speed of the ball to carry it in. Mystic, what a play. We see Cobb on the job all throughout yesterday and the week before, going upside down. You have to pay attention. Looks like it's Mystic's turn.
With 4 seconds left, can Penta quickly bring this back? Killer has a chance to Pone next. If he can put a rocket on himself, just a bit of a miss there. As Fairy Peak stops that one. Freaky tries to force it through the Mocket defense, holding on. Just clutch in those last 16 seconds.
Oh, what a dangerous touch as well. It was so soft in front of his own net. Luckily, they sent all 3 in like a crisscross pattern in front of it.
And now we are in a sudden death situation as Mocket needs 1 goal to get themselves to Serie and their second win in a league play. Put themselves in a good spot in those rankings. Penta needs 1 to bring this to a game number 5 for a potential reverse sweep. Almost a shot
by Freaky.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen a lot of incredible saves from both teams so far. Mocket being forced into a lot of them because the offense from Penta has been super strong. But now Mocket taking advantage of this overtime, starting to put the offensive pressure on themselves. Mystic with a chance off the crossbar. Killer needs to get his 50-50, but he loses it. Fairy Peak sends that one back. Freaky forced onto that Pone, not knowing what to do. We'll wait back. as his teammates move up the field. Fairy Peak trying to beat out Pwned. That one gets into Killer. Is there a third in? There will be. K-Dop, last defender. A miss from Freaky. Pwned still has a chance. If he can get a touch on this one from Mystic, he'll back off instead. That's going to allow Maka a chance to move forward. Two people committing to this. Good follow through though. Good correction there from Freaky to be able to keep on that. But look at all these shots from Maka. So close to going in.
Something has come alive from Maka after that goal. Just the aggression and the way they're contesting these 50-50s. They're not waiting for that ball to get cleared out. I think they understand how important this match is. They win this, they close it out. They have the tiebreaker in favor if it comes down to that later in the season.
Well, I mean, why not? It's do or die. You get one goal, you win the whole series. You lose one goal, well, you have another game ahead of you. Maka just says, do or die, let's get this done right now. But Penta isn't ready to give up quite yet. They've had a lot of incredible contests and touches themselves. Pwned will set that one up. Fairy Peak with a good intercept. Killer, good patience from him. We'll wait back as Freaky moves that one in. He'll be too far back on that one, so Killer will wait for Fairy Peak's touch. Rough spot now, Pwned. Good recovery there. They're going to end up back in their own end, though. 2 minutes into overtime now. This could be it. Fairy Peak tries to stuff that one in. No finish from him. But no one in net right now. Rough spot for Penta as they try to break this one out of their own end.
Having a rough time as Maka one after another. These guys just trying to flick it out of the way. But see the way these guys are approaching as well. Fairy Peak with the chance. Goes underneath.
There it is.
And the mistake from Penta.
Penta, we've had too many mistakes now resulting in goals. And unfortunately, this was the one to end the series. Pwned flying over top of that one. Misreading the bounce. And Fairy Peak will finish it off and mock it. Will take their second win in a league play. Now sitting 2-3, and Penta still at a 1 win in the series. 1-3, rough spot for Penta. But good job on Maka to pull that series back. Almost a reverse sweep there.
Again for Penta, following suit, keeping these games close, just having a hard time finding the net. They got the initial one, thought they were going to be able to hold it out, but unfortunately for them, Maka after that goal and equalizing it just came out with one shot after another, and you see it, Freaky having to make 4 saves alone in those last couple of minutes.
I mean, everyone, they actually had the same amount of saves from both teams. Both teams were putting on a lot of pressure. 6 saves total for both teams. I got to give it to Penta. They looked alive and they looked ready to play, especially even when Maka started to step it up. There were still a lot of times when Penta said, okay, we still got this, move this forward. Unfortunately, a couple blunders on defense, and it's those simple, small mistakes. It's not like a lot happened, but those simple, small mistakes will lead to a defeat, especially at this level of Rocket League. But we have more of this level of Rocket League, and the desk is going to tell you about it.
Thank you, Leaf and Lawler. The matches continue here at the Rocket League Championship Series. Axel Toss back here at the analyst desk alongside James Bott and Wavepunk. And Mocket able to bounce back from their loss there against Northern Gaming. Penta putting up a huge fight. But I think, Wavepunk, you mentioned it when we were discussing what was going to happen. A lot of really good defense, a lot of really amazing saves from that series.
Yeah, absolutely. The defense is just lit up here in Season 3 on both NA and EU. And you called it right. You got mock it in 4 games.
Thank you.
It was down to the wire. The games that were rough were rough, but then the games like that, Game 4 that were close, were amazing.
Yeah, and even the final Game 4, like you were saying, going into overtime, seeming like both teams had chances. Defense coming out supreme. Sometimes it looked like they were going to mess up, especially on Penta, but then he dribbled it out of the goal line.
Yes.
There were some scary moments in that game, but really, Mock, they got the win here, very big win, but they looked to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, it felt to me that like Penta was the more cohesive team. They were playing together better, but they were getting just outplayed mechanically. They would have opportunities when they had beaten the defense of Mocket. They had the opportunity to shoot, and they would shoot wide. Yeah, they wouldn't be able to put it in.
Every single goal that Penta scored, they scored 7 of them. Everyone was assisted. Mocket, on the other hand, 9 goals, only 6 were assisted. We saw some heroic solo plays there, especially that one no boost goal at the end, which kind of worked in Fairy Peak's favor. He had no boost. The defender thought he was going to go high, and because he had no boost, he had to go low, and ended up getting that goal. So overall, Mocket, they're going to take this win, they're going to cherish it, and they're going to move on into league play with a little bit better of a record, and now they've got that tiebreaker over Penta, which is huge. So now they're just going to fight for the best seeding, because the way it's playing out, they're probably going to have to play someone first round in the EU Championship that's going to determine whether to make it to Worlds or not. So they're going to now just try to fight for the best seeds.
Absolutely.
A really fun series, and I feel like about what a lot of people might have expected from Mocket coming into today, going up against that Northern Gaming squad. It's like, okay, they're going to be hard to beat. Don't tell that to the leftovers. But then taking out Penta. So Mocket's got to be somewhat happy with today's result, and we'll be looking out for them as the season continues. That being said, still more matches to come. 3 to go. Penta's going to be coming back to the field, going up against the leftovers. Join the conversation on twitch.tv/Rocket League. Hit us up with the hashtag RLCS on Twitter, and make sure you continue watching the Rocket League Championship Series. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, Penta returns to the field, and we have leftovers. What? They're undefeated? Yes, they're going to be playing against Penta. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned.